So the topic of today is people reject truth because they might not like the source of that truth. And don't blame anybody if you hear about this particular point and you say, oh, wow, they reject me because they don't like the source, they don't like me, that's why they reject the truth that I'm bringing. Or even me right now, there are a lot of people who would not even consider listening to Pastor Sunday because they don't like the source. No matter how much truth Sunday, this pastor is bringing on this platform, I've been in Europe for 30 years, over 30 years, so I know that there are some white people who will never even come, who will never even give it a chance to come and listen. They will never even come and listen because if it's a black man that is talking, it doesn't matter what he's going to talk. He's not going to talk sense enough for them to listen until they try it. When they try, then they find out that, ooh, wow, we never heard these things before. But few people will even try. A lot of people would not even try. So, and that's why God likes to do. That's what God likes to do. God likes to put his glory in an earthen vessel. God likes to put his glory in an imperfect vessel. God likes to use the foolish things of this world to teach the wise. That is what God likes to do. God likes to use the weak to teach the strong. That's what God likes to do. Because God knows the prejudice of people, and God knows that people judge by outward look most of the time. God knows that people are biased. God knows the prejudices in people's mind and heart. So God will always act in such a way and from such an angle that we would not even expect him to act from. I remember I was talking with some people who came to see me and from Europe. These were white Europeans, and they were telling me, Pastor Sunday, we would not ever believe it that we could hear this kind of revelation because they've been listening to me. And they said, we can't just believe it that we are hearing this revelation from a black person, from an African. Okay, we could say we could hear it from a black person from America, but from an African, so much wisdom that this is strange. We can't believe it. What is happening? And then these people, there were two people who came. They came from Europe to see me, and they were saying, okay, let's even assume God is going to have this kind of revelation for the body of Christ, because they say we don't hear this kind of revelation from anybody. They said, okay, maybe from Europeans, but even European believers and European Christians don't even speak things like this. We don't even hear this revelation from them. Okay, let's take American Christians, white Christians. They are white Europeans, so they say, okay, if Europeans cannot get this revelation, maybe American Christians could get it. And they said, but we'll try to listen to as many as possible, but we could even get this revelation from American white Christians. Maybe Latin Americans, maybe European, maybe Asians. They said, we tried everybody. In fact, one of them said, when he started listening to me, this is very funny. He was saying, wow, this guy has such wisdom, such a deep wisdom, but I'm embarrassed to be listening to him. How can I say that I'm going to be following a white person? A black person from Africa, even though he's got some success in Europe, but that is Eastern Europe. But how can I be following him? Then he said, I think other people should have this kind of revelation. So I'm not going to follow Pastor Sunday. I'm going to look for other people who I could follow that, that are more easier for me to associate myself with and to present that this is the person I got it from. So this person said, I started following. I said, no, I will not follow Pastor Sunday. So I started following Hillsong Pastor, the pastor of Hillsong Church. I said, okay, that looks a little bit similar. And that for me is more welcoming. So this European guy said, I would rather follow an Australian than an African. He said, I follow the Australian pastor for like 3 months, and I said, no, this is not close to what I'm hearing from Pastor Sunday. And I have to go back to listen to Pastor Sunday again. Then he said, and I said, okay, I'm going to listen to Pastor Sunday quiet, silently, so that I will not tell anybody where I'm getting the revelations from. So he said, I will just take the revelations and not tell them who is my source. So then later on, this person decided that, he said one day he saw on the television a guy from, what they call him, from Singapore, what they call that guy. The guy is preaching some form of grace like that. He's always talking about grace. Prince or something. They call him something Prince. Joseph Prince, yeah. Joseph Prince, yeah. Joseph Prince. There's a guy they call Joseph Prince. So he said, well, I'm not too impressed about following Asians too, but at least it's on television, it's popular. At least it's popular on television, so it's easier to present that as the person I'm learning from. So this person says, so I started listening to Joseph Prince, and I discovered that he has some interesting things to say. So I got interested in the grace message. Then I was comparing that with what Pastor Sunday is saying, and I said, this is not the complete gospel. It's not bad. It's okay. It helped. He said it helped a little bit, but it's nothing compared to what I've been listening to with Pastor Sunday. So this person said, so I couldn't listen to anybody again after I've listened to Pastor Sunday. I had to drop that Joseph Prince. I have to drop him and come back to Pastor Sunday. So he decided, okay, let me come and see if is it really true? Is it really real? How can he have all this kind of revelation? I mean, this is a surprise. This is too big a surprise. How can he have so much depth? So he came to the conclusion that some of the things that I'm saying, that if you really try and struggle, that you could hear maybe 10, 20% of it from different people. But he said what he had discovered is he's over 50 years old now. And he said, I don't have enough life to come and try to gather all the information from, I don't even know where to gather all these things from. Right? So I think I will just humble myself and submit myself to Pastor Sunday and see him as my teacher. I said, well, you know what? You don't have to submit to me. I mean, if it helps you, you don't even need to refer to me. You don't even need to mention my name to anybody. You don't even need to let anybody know you are getting this from Pastor Sunday. You don't even need to quote me. Say it is your own revelation. If you're able to back it up and you're able to prove the revelation, yeah, get the credit. Get the credit for yourself and by yourself. Say it is you who went to the mountain and were with God for 20 years straight, along with God of solitude, and God revealed all these things to you. So, take the glory. Don't worry about it. Write books. I said, yeah. He said, yes, I've started writing books from your messages. I was looking at him and I said, it's not a bad idea, but I'm looking for writers to help me write my books. But he's writing it on his own name. But I hear a lot of people do that. They come and listen to my message and go and write their own books. I said, well, it's still better than nothing. At least, God takes the glory. So let him write his book for his own self. And of course, he's not going to quote me in that book. But it's okay, Paul said anybody that is preaching, as long as they are preaching to give God the glory, it's okay. There was a time that I was in New York. I was preaching in New York. And there was another white American guy that came to listen to me. He said he was so blown away. Now, that guy is a bestseller in New York bestseller. So after he became New York bestseller, then he decided to write me. He said he had written 9 books. He met me 9 years ago. I mean, 10, is it? Yeah, maybe 11 years ago. So after he had written 9 books from my messages was when he wrote me to let me know that he had written books from my messages. And it has become New York bestseller. And he didn't even quote me. He didn't even mention my name in any of the books. Amazing. But at least, thank God, he remembered after 9 books and after a New York bestseller, he remembered where I got the revelation from. But he never came to Ukraine. But he wrote me a letter and said he wants to tell me that all those books are coming from my revelation when I came to New York City. He bought my CDs. Those days they used to sell these CDs and tapes. So he got my CDs. He said he was getting so much revelation that he started writing from those revelation books. And he didn't know that they are going to be so powerful, and they became bestsellers. So I told him, you know what? All these things come from God. And God said, freely you receive, freely you can give. But, if I had been American, I would have sued you for plagiarism. But I'm not going to do that because, we are kingdom people. And kingdom people are more concerned about the truth getting out. But, what I'm saying, what is the point I'm trying to make? I'm just trying to make the point that some people will reject the truth because they don't like the source of that truth. They don't like the source. They don't like the person who is bringing the truth. And so when these kind of guys are telling me that they are writing books from my messages or they listen to my messages and they cannot identify with me, but at least they are listening, that is not bad at all, because there are some people who will not even put on the video. They will not even open the Facebook page because you are black, because this is a black person talking. And some of them have their own reasons, because some of them, actually, one of the people who came from Europe told me he actually wanted to submit to African before, but he had so many bad experiences from African preachers because he used to go to Africa. He's a pastor, so he used to go to Africa to bring African preachers to come and preach in his church, because he wanted to learn from them how to pray and how to walk in the miracle powers. He said, but they have come with so much doctrines and so horrible practices, shouting, making noise, and making miracles to happen by force, and that he has become so disappointed. But so he was totally shocked that from another African, God could be teaching him so much truth, and that this African is totally different from all African preachers he had met. And he thought all African preachers would qualify under the same kind of people, the same ones he had seen in Africa. So he was very, very surprised that this one is totally different, a total walk away from what he used to identify himself with. So what I'm saying is that some people will not like the source of truth, but so these guys who are at least listening in silence or in secret, or who don't want to identify you, or they don't want to mention your name, but at least they are listening. So that's good. That's what Paul said. So thank God that people are preaching the gospel, even if they are preaching it to hurt you or to discredit you, but at least they are preaching the gospel. As long as the gospel is being preached, hallelujah. Thank God for it. Just rejoice and celebrate. But what I'm saying basically is that a lot of people will not accept the truth and will reject the truth because they don't like the source of that truth. They don't like the source of the truth. I learned that in a big way myself. And I think all of us are like that. Let me give you, before I mention my own example, let me give you a few examples. I'm going to use Mayowa here as my illustration today. So Mayowa, let's assume that, don't let's assume. Let me just ask you direct. How many times do you consider listening or reading books from Muslim authors, Buddhist authors, or Islamic authors to learn some truth or some wisdom? Have you ever considered doing that? No. No? Okay. Let's find out other people. Queen Anastasia, how many times did you hear that question?
Yes, I did.
Come this side. How many times have you considered studying some authors who are not Christians like Muslims, Islamic, or Buddhist, or Hindus to get some truth from them.
Never.
Never. It can never happen. It's like a taboo, right?
Yes.
Okay, now let me tell you something. What will you do if you find out that somebody that you have despised as a Muslim or a Buddhist or a Hindu? What about if someone like that comes up with some truth? I'm even thinking, if you are like me, that you will question that truth. Maybe it's not even the truth after all. What will you say?
Yeah, possibly. The answer you gave that, yes, I'll question it, but I'll still have a look.
You will think that maybe it's not the truth.
Yes.
Because it's an Islamic guy.
Yes, and it's because I despise the person. Yes, I will question.
Very good. Now you are talking.
Yeah,
What about you, Queen
I would
Anastasia?
have this blank screen and say, no. Yeah, that's it.
So, and the only reason is because that person is somebody that you, as a source, you cannot trust a source. And you cannot accept the source of this, where the person is coming. You cannot accept the source of the truth. Just because the man is a Muslim, or is Islamic, or is Buddhist, or is Hindus. You don't identify, you don't recognize the source, you don't like the source. So even if the person speaks the truth, or is carrying the truth, or is speaking the truth, most of us who are Christians, we will never even listen to find out, is he speaking the truth or not? Okay, now let me now ask you another question. Is it written in the Bible that God could speak through a stone? That if you keep quiet, that God will raise up stones and use stones. Have you ever heard of that before?
Yes, yes.
So God can do that.
Yes.
He will speak through stones.
Yes.
Okay, let's leave stones alone. Have you ever heard of the story of Balaam and Barak and Balaam, the prophet, who was riding on a mule? Or what was he riding? Was it a mule? Or a donkey?
Donkey.
Okay, he was riding on a donkey, and then he refused to carry out the instruction of God. And then who did God use?
The donkey.
God used who to speak to the prophet himself?
The donkey.
So you are now telling me that God can speak through a donkey? Is that what you are saying?
Yes.
Is that what you are saying?
Yes.
You know why you believe that? Because it's in the Bible.
Yes.
Okay, what about if the same truth has been written in the Quran, that God could speak through a donkey? What about if the same truth has been written in a Buddhist book, that God could speak through a donkey? You would have said, no, it's because it's Buddhist. It cannot be true. It's not God. It is their God that is not God. You see? Okay. Now another question for you. Are you now trying to tell me that God is capable of speaking through a donkey, through stones, but is not capable of speaking through Muslim? You see, we are so limited. We can't believe the way we are limited. We are so prejudiced. We are all prejudiced. We all have prejudices. We all have prejudices. Now, I don't say you should be going to read Muslim books or Quran or Buddhist book or Hinduist book. That's not what I'm saying. You don't need to do that because we have enough in the Bible, right? But what I'm saying is, at least be open. At least open your mind that God could use anybody. At least open your mind to recognize and to know that God could use anybody. God could speak through any human being. God could talk through even a Muslim or a Buddhist or anybody. Because what this prejudice does is that if we associate truth only to sources, and we divide truth only to different sources, and only the sources that we accept or we love that we accept truth from, then we are going to be missing out on a lot of truth. We cannot limit God. We cannot put God in a box. And we cannot say, God, you only have the right to speak only through a Christian. Who is the owner? Who makes Mac, whatever you have? What is the Mac what? Mac, what is the name?
MacBook Pro.
MacBook Pro.
Apple.
Okay, bring it. Yeah, that's what I needed. Yeah. This is, what do you call it?
MacBook Pro.
MacBook Pro, okay. So this is MacBook Pro for Queen Anastasia here. You know it's from Apple.
Yes.
Okay. You know this thing you are holding? Is this a truth that this is a computer here? Is it a good computer? Okay. That's the truth. It's a fact. MacBook Pro is a good computer. Yes, no doubt. Good computer. One of the best in the world. Yeah? That is the truth.
Yes.
What about if I tell you that this truth you are holding in your hand is coming from a Buddhist? So when it comes to the truth of computer, why do you say this truth is from a Buddhist? Because Steve Jobs was a Buddhist. So this is a Buddhist. I cannot acknowledge his own truth. Not talking truth, but this is a product truth. This is a truth of a product. And it's coming from a Buddhist. But this one you accepted. This truth, this product, which is the truth, this is the reality, you are using it, and this truth is sleeping in your house every day. And I didn't know if you cast out some demons from this truth.
No.
You didn't remove the spirit of Buddhism. No. Religion. Huh? What about if you get, so if now that you have gotten to know that it's a Buddhist that made it or that came up with it, why didn't you take it to the church, to the night prayer, to the deliverance session, so that the pastor will anoint it and do deliverance for it, so that the spirit of Buddhism will not come upon you? You don't do that, is it?
No.
Because truth cannot be monopolized by anybody. Truth cannot be monopolized just by Christians. Truth cannot be monopolized just by Muslims or anybody. Truth could come from any source. God could use anybody, no matter the religion, to bring the truth to us. Okay, what about if you find out Queen Anastasia and Queen Maiwa, that this clothes you are wearing, this your top, you are wearing, is made in Egypt. Because Egypt now makes a lot of clothes and they export to the world. Those are all Muslims in pajama, or what do you call it, pajama or what? Hijab, in hijab. So these people are, maybe they are not terrorists, but they are Islamists. Even if it is written in your something there that is from Muslims, that the clothes, you like it. That's the truth. Because that's why you bought it and you are wearing it. But that truth is from an Islamist, our Islamist country. And you are wearing it. That is a truth that is coming from a source that you don't like. So why don't we be truthful to the end? If we are really truthful people, and you say you love the truth to that extent, why is it that your truth only stops in words or in ideology or in religion? Why is it that your truth that you believe that only Christians and only, a Christian you can listen to truth from? Why is it didn't affect the clothes you bought? Why is it that it didn't affect the computer you are using? Why is it that it's not affecting the house you are living? This house here is built by communists. Even I have to pay them. Atheists, and the and you are living in the hotel you stay in, atheists built it. Some of them are homosexuals who built your house. Some of the clothes you are wearing, they are made by homosexuals. There is a brand, they call, is it Versace? Huh? No, Versace. Versace, yeah? Versace. How many of you like the products of Versace? You don't? Everybody likes them. I do. They are good quality, but it's homosexual.
Dolce and Gabbana as well.
Huh?
Dolce and Gabbana.
Dolce and Gabbana also. So there's what do you call them? Gay and atheists. But you are wearing their clothes. So when we say we don't like the source of truth, we are only talking religion. Religion has messed up our minds. But you are not true. You are not sincere. Because it is hypocrisy. Because if it is not hypocrisy, you would have been rejecting their clothes too. You know, most of the clothes that we are wearing and most of the computer that we are using, most of everything we are using this way is from China. And do you know who the Chinese are? They are communists and atheists and Buddhists. Many of them are Buddhists, communists, and atheists. If you really want to say you are a Christian to the end, and that you can only accept the truth that is coming from Christian source, so go and remove everything Chinese from your house and bring them to me. Maybe I will receive them. I have people to give them to. Go and remove everything Chinese, because the Chinese are communists, the Chinese are Buddhists, and the Chinese are they are atheists. So go and remove everything Chinese from your home, because they don't believe in your ideology. And let's leave the Chinese alone. You know, some of the things you are using, they are coming from Japan. And the Japan, they are the Confucianists. Or Confucians, they call their religion. So those Confucians, you know, when they get to the work, they don't just make the product physically. In most of the Japanese companies, you have to stop in the morning and pray and call the spirits and pray like 30 minutes, 40 minutes on their company and on the products. Before all the cars you are seeing from Japan and all the clothes and everything you are seeing from Japan, there are some, in the morning they do rituals, they call the spirits and they have God. If you go to China, they have gods. In all the companies that they have idols and gods. Yes, they have their statues of God. In Japan, in Thailand, Taiwan, Korea, and China, they have gods, all kind of gods in the company where they produce the thing you are wearing. Have you ever been to a Chinese restaurant? I'm sure you must have seen some gods there, and you went there and ate on your own and came back without any problem. So why is it that their restaurant with their god is good enough for you, and you didn't become demon possessed, and nothing happened? You went there, you are not so religious that time when you are eating in that restaurant. Even though there is a god there is an idol there, you didn't walk out. Or all the things that you are buying, you like Japanese product. How many of you like Japanese product? You don't like Japanese product? I like it. You don't, girls? If I give you Japanese car now, you will not take it. Well, you are not casting out the demons from Japan.
I didn't even think about the demons.
You didn't even think. You see how religious we could all be, eh? How religious we could all be. Because it is not true that truth can only come from one source that you like. There are a lot of people, there are a lot of things. We are just being hypocrites. So all those people who are saying they want to cast out demons, why is it that only African demons they want to cast out? Why is it that they are not casting out Japanese demons and Chinese demons, or Korean demons or Taiwanese demons? Because they don't understand. Demons and evil spirits only work for people who understand it. But the Christians who are in Japan and who are in China, they are running away from those spirits and from those demons. They are not buying the things. Why? Because they know that it's dangerous. They are afraid of it. But the ones who don't know about it, all of us, we don't care. We just use it. The same thing in Africa. All those demons and the wishes of Africa, they only affect Africans. The witches and wizards and all the demons of Africa, they don't affect Japanese. They don't affect white people at all. They don't affect anybody because they don't have the fear of the African demons. Japanese don't fear African demons. Europeans don't fear African demons, so they don't affect them. It is the fear that you have towards witches and wizards that cripples you. So you don't fear the demons from Taiwan. You don't fear the demons from Japan. You don't fear the demons and the witches and wizards from China or from Thailand. You don't fear any one of that because you don't fear it. You go to their restaurant, even eat there, nothing happens. You even ride in their car and that nothing happens, because if you don't have faith in their demons and in their idols, it doesn't harm you. It's just a decoration. So the same thing, that's the same way white people see our own idols, as it's just decorations. I just laugh, I take it as souvenir back home. So, but why don't you use the same logic and refuse to fear demons in Africa? And refuse to fear demons and principalities and witches and wizards from where you come from. Just refuse to believe in it. If you don't believe in it, it will never harm you. If you never have the fear for it, if you don't have the fear for it, it will never affect you. But because you have the fear for it, because you have belief in it, and because you think they could harm you, that is why you are afraid. And that belief that they could harm you, it is what is empowering them to be able to harm you. But when you don't have the faith in their source, when you don't have faith in them, you are over and above them. So, but the basic thing I'm saying today is that we all behave like that. When we don't believe in the source of truth, we are biased against the truth. What does that mean? When we are biased against the truth just because it's coming from a source we don't like, that means that truth is not supreme in our mind, in our heart. That truth is not paramount. It means that truth is not absolute for us. And that we don't agree that truth must be universal. Okay. Do you know that some of you know that there are Christians today who say anything that is not written in the Bible is not the truth? Have you ever heard that kind of thing before?
Yes.
Okay. You know it's a lie. A lot of things that are not in the Bible that are the truth. You know the Bible never mentioned gravity. And you say it's not true now. Make it go jump. Since it's not in the Bible, why don't you just take it and declare war and just say, I revolt. I don't believe in gravity. Because I don't believe in gravity, I'm going to jump from 20th floor. Because it's not in the Bible. Congratulations. I will come for the burial service. Oh, but you are not going to be there. You are not going to be the one to invite me for your funeral. But I will come there and tell the story of what happened. So when you hear people say the truth is only in the Bible and anything that is not in the Bible is not the truth, just say, okay, I understand where you're coming from. Let him go. Make you don't argue with him. Don't argue with them. You know, the word oxygen is not in the Bible. So you say you don't believe in oxygen and revolt. What about the word brain? It's like you say you don't believe in brain because brain is not in the Bible. Make you not believe now. Go and remove it and say it's not necessary. You are not the one to tell the story. So a lot of religious conditioning, a lot of religious conditioning that we have that is absolutely crazy. And then when you discover that the person who discovered the brain is an atheist or doesn't believe in God, and you say you cannot believe anything that is from atheist, but the person discovered that you have brain, or the person, somebody believes that you don't believe in gravity, or like Einstein, he perfected the theory of gravity of Isaac Newton, and you say, well, I don't believe in it because it's an atheist. Okay, make you not believe now. You don't have to believe, but you have to acknowledge the reality because those people discovered what God created. So a lot of things that God has created that anybody could discover, either he's a Christian or he's not a Muslim. In fact, some of the medicine that you are taking, some of the tablets and the pharmaceutical things that you are taking, they are made by atheists or communists or Buddhists. In fact, a lot of medicine now are coming from India. And they are Hindus, most of them. So you are taking Hindu medicine. But since it's helping you, is the truth. Why not? You cannot say because it's coming from Hindu something you will die, you would rather die. Everybody could die. In fact, I know people who are Nigerians, who are coming from Nigeria, my country, who are praying, prayer warriors. But when they are sick, you know who they go to? They don't go to Christian doctors, they go to India. And you know the kind of doctors who are in India, they're Hindus. And those doctors and the hospitals where they go to in India, there are some demons, you know, idols and little gods everywhere in the hospital. And you know what? All the Nigerian pastors even go there and die there or get operation there. They are not doing deliverance, so they are rather the ones who have been delivered. What I'm trying to say is that we all have biases. We all have biases against sources. There are some sources that we don't like. And that is troubling when I hear people demonize Muslims. But it's not fair, it's not true, because we are using a lot of things from Muslims. I know that it's not fair and it's not truth. It's not according to truth when I hear Christians demonize gays. Because a lot of things that we are enjoying today in our world are made by gays. It's not fair and it's not nice when we are demonizing atheists. A lot of the things that we own today and we are using today, they were created, they were given to us, or they were made available to us by atheists. So that's why God must be God. God is God in every way. But when people now apply the same principle against us, we think it's not fair. For example, I was talking to you today and I said, a lot of people will not even listen to me because I'm a black man. A lot of people will not even put on the video because there's a black person. What will they say? And you people are thinking it's not fair. But you don't know you are just the same thing. You do just the same thing. How many of you, when you see a Muslim talking and you say, maybe let me just put it on and say, even me, I don't put it on to here. But at least I'm open that God could talk through a Muslim or a Buddhist or anybody to me. And God could teach me through any one of them too. So we all have biases. We all have prejudices and we don't recognize it. You know, there are people who will never listen to you, Dr. Queen Anastasia, just because you are a woman. That sounds like crazy, right? Mm-hmm. That how would they not listen just because she's a woman? There are some men who will never put on your video. Mm-hmm. Not because you are not speaking the truth, though. Mm-hmm. But because the source that is speaking that truth, then is not trusted by them. And the reason the source is not trusted is because the source is a woman. So a lot of truth we reject. Many of us have rejected very good ideas, very good truth, just because we doubt the source. You know, the same thing happens in your relatives and in your families. Now, I want all of you who are listening to me now to remember your cousins and your uncles and your aunts and your relative and your grandfather, your grandparents that have tried to tell you some things. But because they are not born again and they don't go to your church, you have rejected them, close up your mind against them, maybe even despise them. Because they are not Christians. How can they know? What can they tell you? Do you know there are some of you who are listening to me today who will not even listen to your children because they are younger than you, or receive truth from your junior ones just because you are older than them? When we begin to elevate the source of truth above the truth itself, we err. We commit error. The truth must not and never be inferior to the source. It is rather the source that is secondary, and the truth itself is primary. So we should always look for the truth. If this person is speaking the truth, I would rather agree with him than disagree. If this person is saying is the truth, if it makes sense, if it is provable, if it is established, if it is confirmed as the truth, I am more interested in the truth than the person who is saying it or the source from which it's coming. So we should rather elevate the truth, make the truth superior, and make the truth absolute and paramount, rather than focusing on the source that brought the truth to us. Because, you know, there are some people who are against my teaching because they said, Pastor Sunday doesn't just talk from the Bible, he's using the wisdom from everything, from science, from philosophy, from, you know, anywhere, from all the world. Yes, because God is the source of all knowledge. God is the source of all wisdom. So I get all the wisdom of God from everywhere, and I use it on the basis of the Bible. I refine it on the basis of the Bible, and I use the Bible to sieve it. And I see that it's in line with the Bible, and I go for it. I fire out. When the truth is superior for you, you are only concerned if it is the truth. Once it is the truth, the source, yes, the source is also important, but the source is secondary. Look at what this person said. Marie answer says, wow, even pastors from different churches we don't listen to are not being listened to because we said they are not from my church. Can you believe it? So if I'm speaking the truth now, and this word is important and it's going to set you, so you are not going to listen because I'm not from your church. And I know there are some people who do that. In fact, there are some churches who say you can never read a book from another church, another author, if it's not from your pastor. So I said, okay, I agree. You respect your pastor, good. So let's say now you want to become an engineer. And your pastor has not written book about engineering because your pastor don't write book about engineering. And you are saying, okay, I'm in university studying engineering, but because I don't read books who are not from my pastor, how will you pass the engineering test? You tell me. You read Bible and pass the engineering test? Or you want to become a medical doctor, okay? And they have told you in your church that you don't read any other book that is not for people who are not from your church. So all your professors must be from your church. And all of them must write books. So if you go to medical school, and then what will you say? You say, okay, I refuse to give exam or read book. You will not read book and you came here to read medicine? Yes, I will not read book. What happened? Well, I don't read book from people who are not my pastor or from my church. So will you pass that medical school?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. See, this is how biased we all are. We are very biased. And we don't even know we are biased. And then we are not truthful too. We are hypocritical. So when it comes to school, medical school, you go and study the books of atheists just for you to pass. You go and study the book of Muslims just for you to pass. When it comes to dentists, you go to an Indian doctor, Muslim doctor, just for you to be able to be fixed. But when it comes to church, you are not consistent. You know, then you go to gay, you go and read gay book to pass medicine or engineering. Gay teacher, you go and listen to him and give exams before him. And then you are saying you don't like gay, they are sinners. So why are you going to listen and obey and give exams under him? You see, that's why truth must be elevated above whoever is through whose source that particular truth is coming across to you. We must just make sure that we focus on the truth. Truth is more important than the source. The fact that you receive the truth doesn't mean you must receive the source, but you have to receive the truth. Okay, so now, why is it that a lot of people will not accept the truth? Because of this bias that I'm dealing with. There are a lot of truth right now that you could have discovered that you are suffering. There are some things that you are suffering from right now. And you would have gotten help if you had not been close to some source of truth. Do you know, in my own personal experience, there is a particular pastor from Ghana. I know that he's in error in a lot of issues, in a lot of ways. So because I know that this guy is in error and is making a lot of mistakes, I just said, no, I will not touch his book at all. Then one day, one of his disciples brought his book to me. I said, no, I cannot help him. Then you know what happened? 10 years later, I heard somewhere that the guy was talking about me. The guy has been reading my books or maybe hearing my messages, or I don't know what he has been doing. So he was talking about me so well, so nice. So I said, oh, if this guy is talking about me so well, let me check on one of his books. Then, do you remember, can you believe it? You know, not the areas where he's in error, but, even somebody who is in error, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that he will never be able to speak what is right sometimes. Or there are some things that, God could use anybody. Like we said, God could use donkeys, God could use stones. Even somebody who is in error, it's not good to just condemn the person. You could condemn the error, but that doesn't mean you should condemn the source. Because that same source could still bring truth out. God could still use that same person who made a mistake in one subject. In another subject, God could speak the truth through him. Somebody who is making a mistake, who is a sinner, you cannot say, I cannot receive anything from a sinner. But somebody who is a sinner sometimes could be used to speak the right thing, to speak the truth. So this person, when I read the book, at that particular time, I was having some challenges. And I got the wisdom necessary for me to resolve the problem I was having through that book of the man that I know is in error. That became a big lesson for me. That by condemning the error, it still doesn't mean that I agree with the error. I still don't agree with the error. I still condemn the error. But that doesn't mean I should condemn the human being, the source. Because you don't know what God is doing with people. You don't know the changes that are happening in people's lives. And you don't know the transformation or the growth that people are experiencing. And how they will change, or they might change or bring it. Or maybe they are in error in one thing, but in other things, they might be right in other things. But when you just say you are biased against any other source, and you only recognize your pastor or your man of God, and only your man of God you'll be listening to, you will be limited in life. There is no way all wisdom in this world will come from one man of God. Man of God could have a lot of wisdom, but be open to receive from other sources as well. God could speak through other people too. But when you are already biased against every other source, then you are the loser. You are losing. Now, like I said, I don't mean you should go and be looking for Buddhists and say you are going to study everything. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying be open. If God wants to speak through a Muslim to you, let him do it. If God wants to speak through a Buddhist to you, let him do it. Allow God to work. Allow God to do it. Don't be biased against the source of truth. Like, for example, some of the people I listen best to right now are my disciples. I told you one of my favorite writers now is Dr. Success. And I've got a lot of inspiration listening to Ogene Tega. Sunday Akibowale, Victor, Anu, Anastasia, Kwinkiro, Obi, all these people that are my disciples, I am learning from them. So you cannot just say, because you are senior to somebody, or somebody is your, is your junior, or somebody is somebody you think that you know better than, that God cannot speak through them. You shouldn't ever condemn the source. Any source. Any source could be a blessing to you. God could use any source to enlighten you and to even bring answers to your life. But when you are already biased, when you are already having prejudice against the source of truth, well, you will never be able to even recognize the truth. You'll never be able to recognize. Is it Malcolm X? I think it's, can you check it? I think it's Malcolm X who says, what did he say? That I support the truth, or I'm on the side of truth, no matter who says it. And I'm on the side of truth, no matter where it comes from. Something like that, very similar. Because that is very correct. That's a very correct. Can you look for a quotation like that? I am on the side of truth, no matter who says it. Look for the quotation, you will find the author. Okay. I'm on the side of truth, no matter who says it. So it doesn't matter who says the truth. Once is the truth, we must be committed to be on the side of that truth. We must be on the side of truth, no matter. So truth must be elevated far above our prejudices. Learn from everybody. Learn from as many people as you can. You will be the better for it. By the way, if you have not yet shared the link, please go ahead and share the link. Go ahead and share the link to this message. So don't let anybody put you in the box. Like in my country, sometimes people will tell you, don't listen to anybody who is not from your church, or don't listen to another pastor, or don't read another person's book. That is captivity. That's putting you in prison. Don't let anybody shut you away from the source of truth. Don't let anybody silence you in regards to truth. You know, in my books sometimes, oh, okay, Fisa, you accept me, found it. I am for truth, no matter who tells it. I am for justice, no matter who it is for or against. I am a human being, first and foremost. And as such, I am for whoever and whatever benefits humanity as a whole. You see, it's Malcolm X, so I'm right. So I am for truth, no matter who tells it. I'm for justice, no matter who it is for or against. Malcolm X. Do you know who Malcolm X is? You know he's a Muslim. Yeah. But if he's a Muslim, how come you accept this truth? Or you disagree?
I agree.
You agree? But he's a Muslim now. So in my book, sometimes people tell me, what is Pastor Sunday doing? How can you quote a Muslim?
Yes, in Nigeria,
in Nigeria they say that.
Leadership question is in the court.
Yeah. How can they use Buddhist example or or Hindu's quotation or Muslim person? How can they quote a Muslim? You know, Pastor Sunday, what are you doing? Because Paul himself quoted unbelievers in the Bible. Paul was quoting unbelievers. Even God himself is quoting unbelievers in the Bible. So if God could quote unbelievers, you know, why should you be so dogmatic? Are you more dogmatic than God? Even the Bible is quoting Satan. If you read the Bible, you will find Satan inside. Satan is being quoted there. So even if Satan is being quoted, he's worse than Muslims and Buddhists. So religion is a dangerous thing.